I think also that's something that that I've done a lot of is working directly. CX works best when it's something of an octopus that just like reaches out and has tentacles in every department.
Yeah.
But especially marketing and sales, there's a lot you can uncover about what does and doesn't actually need to be fixed in your product by integrating your CX and your marketing really well, so that, you know, if the CX team says like, oh, you know, customers are consistently confused about this issue, and you bring that to the product and the engineering teams, and they're like, I don't understand why they're confused about it. It's like, it seems pretty straightforward to me. And then you talk to sales and marketing, and they're like, oh, we're marketing that wrong. Oops. Sorry, we didn't fully understand it. I mean, we laugh, but that's the exact conversation has happened in my career a couple of times. So I think that really helps. And then again, just using your CX team and all of your channels as an always on focus group in and of itself. Like, ultimately, if you're running CX well, that's what that is. It's a constant report on the status of your customers' health, their understanding of your product, their ability to use it. That's actually another trend that it's fairly recent. I think it was I read it in a trends report from Zendesk just this year. But CX teams I'm really excited to see this as a trend, because this is something I've been excited about for years. They're really starting to embrace merging data sets between, you know, the hot jars of the world, you know, your customer monitoring softwares, to see what people are using and where the friction is. Potentially tools like you all, to be honest. I don't know what you have in terms of monitoring, but merging that with your CX data to find meaningful patterns and help inform both teams of how y'all can support each other.
Yeah. One of my favorite interactions with CX, and it's kind of like along those what interests or pique my interest, is when we do beta tests. We find things that are wrong with it. We find things that we need to improve, but there's no way we're going to fix all of it, right? There's no way we're like a couple months before launch and no product manager's like, yep, we got to fix all this. We're going to delay the launch, and it's just not going to happen. There's no world with that. So you fix the big things, fix the really big things that would have caused a huge headache. And then you have all this other stuff, right? You have all this other feedback, and it's like, don't just throw it away, right? Just don't throw that and say, yeah, that's done. So a lot of teams that I see that find good impact with their results shift those things like what's broken or bad experiences or things that need workarounds over to that CX team and say, enable your live chat, enable your self-serve with this stuff. This is the problems that people are running into before we launched, right?
Yeah.
Give them that data set to use and say, hey, you should have articles for these things. That way you're not having to pick up a phone or look at the email because they can self-serve themselves, or you can get off that phone a little bit faster or get through chat faster or anything like that.
You bring up a really good point there. And there's a principle I'm a really big fan of at the places I work in, which I like to refer to as translation. It's not translation. It's just like value swapping. But I'm a big proponent of like speaking the other department's language when you're trying to work with them. And one of the best ways that I've seen for folks in beta testing or engineering or what have you to sort of educate CX leaders about like even what it is they do is to help them test channel accessibility for user outreach. Because chances are, you know, if you haven't looked at it in 6 months, you might be missing out on customer feedback or even customer inquiries because your chat bot is too hard to like get past to get through to an actual person, or your help buttons are in a weird obscure place, or the icon is just a question mark and not the word help, and so people aren't reaching out. That's a really great way to like introduce ideas like, A/B testing and things like that, to kind of like test things out and see, okay, what does volume do if we make these changes? And just introducing them to testing concepts based on that. And then, the end benefit result is that you've got more volume, and thus more customer insights, and you're probably reducing churn. Like, the benefits are endless.